It's Tuesday, and that means it is time for a segment of Today's Health. We have Karen Donaldson here with Excel, and like that baby picture we just saw of the baby digging into the cake, New Year's resolutions, we all have those cravings, we want the yummy treats, but a lot of us with this new year have made some New Year's resolutions. We don't want to eat the popcorn and the candies and all of that stuff.
You don't?
No. Well, that's a problem. We do, but we say we don't. So you're going to share with us a little bit about why we have these cravings and kind of get to the bottom of it so we can truly fight these cravings and have a good New Year's.
Right. Okay. Well, it's I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easy to say that we're not going to have this stuff. Like, I'm not going to have that. Starting this year, I'm done eating junk food, blah, blah, blah. My resolution, lose 20 pounds, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But that truthfully doesn't, excuse me, doesn't last a really long time. Excuse me.
Do you know how long typically does that last? I mean, do people get to month 2 and they're like, oh my gosh, that chocolate or that
if they get that far, maybe 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe a couple days. I had a person say for an hour, you know, so for the next hour I promise I won't eat that yet. Okay. So what I would encourage people to do, instead of just like fighting it all the time and saying I'm never going to have that again, is to kind of figure out why they are wanting these foods and maybe really get to the little bit deeper issues. Is there a reason for your cravings? Is there a food that you crave on a regular basis? Does it change throughout the month? Try to figure out what is going on a little bit deeper and then maybe deal with that instead of just no, 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 and then having that not work, because that only sets you up for some more failure.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, could some of the cravings be caused from a lack of certain foods or nourishments? Because I've heard it said, like, if you're craving chocolate, it might mean you lack carrots, or, you know, like
magnesium or something.
Different nourishments or different foods have different things in them that you might feel like you're craving something, but it's really protein or, you know.
Sometimes that does happen, and we do just need some basic nutrition. I'm not sure where all of these would fit into it, because there's some nutrition in there, but not a lot. So a lot of the times, really, it's coming from some emotional issues. Is there some anger? Is there boredom? Procrastination? I looked up buttered popcorn, for example, because that's kind of mine.
Oh,
and it was fear. Popcorn. It was procrastination due to fear of failure. And I thought, oh, that's stupid. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I would put off a big project or a big event because I was afraid it might not turn out very well. So I'd rather sit and eat some popcorn instead, and then I wouldn't have to think about it.
So emotions, so your cravings really stem from emotions?
A lot of them really do.
But they could really come from...
They really do. We're going to talk about that. We're having a class on Wednesday the 18th. It's free.
Okay.
And so we'll delve a little bit more into what some of these emotions might mean. And I found that like 90–95% of the people, it's very accurate. When you actually sit down and pay attention and be honest with yourself, it's like, oh, maybe I am angry, maybe I'm upset about this, maybe it's a fear of failure, maybe it's just whatever the emotion might be. So then finding some ways to deal with that. Like, I wanted popcorn last night. I did. And there was no reason for it. I wasn't hungry. So I used some of the methods that we use with some visualization and some breathing and stuff, and I was able to let that craving go.
Really?
Which was nice.
Wow.
So, yes.
So how do you do that? You said, you know, different breathing techniques, or, you know, what are those? A little bit of...
lots and lots of them. You have to come to the class now.
I know, it's free. I will be there.
We do some visualization, some breathing. We do a lot of work with pressure points on different parts of the body. Just things to kind of change up that pattern in the brain so that something else can occur instead.
Okay.
Basically, so.
Wonderful. Now, for someone like me, I've set New Year's resolutions, obviously, but it's like when I get a craving for something or when I want something, I have to have it. You can ask my husband. If I'm craving hot wings, I have to get hot wings within the next 24 hours. So we talked earlier about portion sizes. Is that something that still, you know, people can play into their New Year's resolutions, where they might have said, I'm not having a single soda for the rest of the year? Is it okay to maybe say, okay, I'll give myself 5 sodas throughout the year, or kind of regulate that?
That works pretty well. That works well for some people. Some people can have, like, for example, I can have 1 piece of chocolate, but that's not a trigger food for me. Other people, the bag would be gone by the next day or that night. So you really got to know what your cravings do for you and the triggers. If hot wings do nothing for me, so I'd be like, oh, you can have them all. But if you put this in front of me, I would eat the whole thing whether I was hungry or not. So really getting to know yourself and what the trigger is for you, that would play a big role. Yes, portions would be important, but you can say that and still just eat more than you wanted to eat. So I think really getting to know what's going on, the heart of the issue. I'll look up hot wings for you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing these tips. If you want to get to the root of your cravings, she has a free class on the 18th.
Wednesday the 18th.
Okay, thank you so much. More details will be on our website.